Chapter Money-Making Machine.
In my first days with Anastasia, I treated her like a hermit with a unique worldview. Now, after all I'd heard and read about her, after her subsequent inroads into our life, she became an anomaly. My mind got all mixed up. Having made an effort to cast aside the flood of information and conclusions, I'm trying to return to the simplicity of my first impressions and to answer the question I'm often asked. Why didn't you bring Anastasia out of the tiger? I very much wanted to bring Anastasia out of the tiger, but I realized I could not do this by force. I had to try to prove to her the logic and utility of a sojourn for her in our society. I mulled over which of her abilities could be used to the benefit of her, people, and my firm. Suddenly I realized that I had before me a beauty, Anastasia, a genuine money-making machine. Her abilities could easily heal people with every possible ailment. Moreover, she would not make any kind of diagnosis, but simply drive out of the organism at once all the ills that had settled there. By some unknown means, she cleanses man's flesh, removing the dirt that has accumulated in it, including every possible ailment if there. She doesn't even touch the body. I'd experienced this myself. She concentrates completely. She looks with her good grey-blue eyes without blinking. Your body seems to warm from her gaze. Then your feet begin to sweat profusely. All kinds of toxins come out through the sweat. People pay a lot of money for medicines and operations. If one doctor doesn't help, they go to another. They go to psychics and bioenergy therapists to be cured of just one illness. They sometimes spend weeks, months, years, and Anastasia's treatment takes just minutes. I calculated that if she spent even 15 minutes per patient, and for this charge just 250,000, although many healers take even more, the fees would come out to 1 million rubles an hour. But this was far from the limit. There were operations that cost as much as 30 million rubles. I thought I had come up with a good business plan in my mind. I decided to clarify a few details and asked Anastasia, "You mean you can drive any ailment out of a person?"
Yes, I think so.
"How much time do you need to spend on each person?"
Sometimes a great deal of time.
"How much is a great deal?"
Once I had to spend more than 10 minutes.
10 minutes is nothing. People spend years getting cured.
10 minutes is a great deal if you bear in mind that in that time I have to concentrate and stop my mind from reasoning.
That's all right. Reasoning will wait. You know so much as it is. I've come up with something here, Anastasia.
What?
I'm going to take you with me. I'll lease a fine office in a big city and advertise that you will heal people. You will do people a lot of good and we will have a good income.
But I already do heal people sometimes. When I model different situations with my summer people in order to help them comprehend the world of plants around them, my ray drives out their illnesses too. Only I try to make sure not all of them.
So they don't even know it's you doing this. Not only does no one pay you any money, but they don't even say thank you. You get nothing for that work.
Yes, I do.
What?
Joy.
Fine then. You will feel joyful and nice, and the firm can make money as well.
But what if someone doesn't have money to pay for healing?
There you go, getting into all the different little nuances. Thinking about that isn't your business. You'll have secretaries and an administrator. You should be thinking about healing, improving, attending seminars to share your experience. Do you yourself understand how this method of yours, your ray, works, or what mechanisms are set in motion?
I do understand, and this method is known in your world too. Doctors and professional scientists know about it, or they feel its beneficial effects. In hospitals, they try to speak with patients encouragingly to improve their mood. Doctors noticed a long time ago that if a person is depressed, illness is hard to cure and medicines don't help. But if you treat a person with love, the illness will go away faster.
Then why isn't anyone trying to figure this out and develop this method of healing to the degree you have?
Many scientists are. Also, many people you call folk healers use this method, and it works a little for them. Jesus Christ and the holy saints use this method to heal people. The Bible talks a lot about love because this is an emotion that has a beneficial effect on man. It is the most powerful of all.
Why do healers and doctors only do a little while you do so much and so easily?
Because they're living in your world, and like everyone from your world, they have to let in pernicious emotions.
What are these pernicious emotions and what do they have to do with this?
Pernicious emotions, Vladimir, are spite, hatred, irritation, jealousy, envy, and others.
You mean you're rarely angry, Anastasia?
I'm never angry.
Fine, Anastasia. It doesn't matter what leads to this effect. What matters is the final result and the benefit that can be derived from it. Tell me, do you agree to come with me and work healing people?
Vladimir, my home and my land are here. Only by being here will I be able to fulfill my destiny. Nothing gives man more strength than his homeland, the dimension of love created by his parents. I can heal people and rid them of physical discomfort at a distance as well, with the help of my ray.
Fine then. If you don't want to go, heal at a distance. You and I can come to an agreement on the place where those wishing to be healed will come. They'll pay their money, and at a specific time you'll heal them. We'll draw up a schedule. How about it?
Vladimir, I understand that you want to have a lot of money, and you will. I'm going to help you. Only there's no need to make it this way. In your world, people take money for healing. There's no other way in your world. But I would rather do this for no money. Also, I cannot heal everyone one after the other because I haven't understood in which cases healing brings benefit and in which harm. But I will try to understand this, and as soon as I can figure it out...
What nonsense is this? How can healing a man bring harm? Or do you mean harm to you?
Healing physical ailments often brings harm to the very person healed.
Anastasia, your notions of good and evil have been turned on their head by all your philosophizing. Society has always honored doctors, even though they haven't worked for free. Even the Bible doesn't condemn this, so put your doubts aside. Curing a person is always a good thing.
Understand, Vladimir. I have seen. My grandfather showed me by example the harm healing can inflict when it is not well thought out, and the patient himself does not take part in the healing.
What a unique philosophy you have here. I'm offering you a joint, extremely profitable business. What do examples have to do with this? However, Anastasia told me the following story, which forced me to think about the necessity of treating everyone indiscriminately.
Chapter Healing for Hell.
One day I saw, with my ray, a solitary old woman working in her plot. Agile, thin, always joyful. She immediately caught my interest. Her plot was very small. Lots of different things grew in it, and grew well, because she did everything with love. Then I found out that the old woman took everything she grew in a basket to busy places and sold it. She herself tried to sell rather than eat her first fruits, when they are more expensive among you. She needed the money to help her son. She had given birth to him at an advanced age and been left without a husband. Her relatives had had nothing to do with her. As a child, her little boy drew, and she dreamed he would become an artist. He tried to go study somewhere a few times, and eventually he did. A couple of times a year, he returned to visit his old mother. For her, these visits were the greatest joy, and each time she saved up money and made provisions. She canned the vegetables she grew on her plot for her son's visit, and gave it all to him. She loved him very much, and her dream was that her son would become a fine artist. She lived for this dream. The old woman was good and cheerful. Then I did not look at her for a while. When I saw her again, the old woman was very sick. It was hard for her to bend over to work in her plot with her plants, and stabbing pains shot through her body every time she leaned over. But she turned out to be very inventive. She made her planting beds narrow and long. She had taken the legs off an old stool, placed it between the beds, sat on it, and weeded the beds, moving all over her plot on her seat. She pulled her basket behind her on a rope, and she rejoiced that she was going to have a good harvest. The harvest really did promise to be good. The plants sensed her and reacted accordingly. The old woman realized she was going to die soon, and in order to cause her son the least trouble, she bought herself a coffin and wreath and basically made all the preparations for her own funeral. But she also wanted to bring in her harvest and make provisions for her son for the winter before her death. At that time, I attached no significance to why, with such close contacts with the plants in her garden, she was so ill. I thought it might be because she herself ate almost none of the fruits from her plot. She would sell them, and with the money she made try to buy whatever was cheaper. I decided to help her, and one day when she went to bed, I started warming her with my ray and driving her ailments out of her body. I could feel something resisting the ray, but I still tried. I probably did this for more than 10 minutes until I got what I wanted, until I healed her flesh. Later, when my grandfather came, I told him about the old woman and asked him why something had resisted my ray. He pondered this and said I had done something bad. Then I got upset. I asked my grandfather to explain why. He paused and then said,
"You healed her body."
And what was so bad that you could have done to the old woman's soul? Anastasia sighed and went on.
The old woman stopped ailing and did not die. Her son came to see her earlier than usual. He only came for 2 days, and said he had abandoned his studies, and didn't want to be an artist, and was working at something else that brought him an income. He had married and now he would have money. And she shouldn't put up all those jars for him because shipping them was more expensive now. You should eat better yourself, mother, he told her. He left without taking anything. In the morning, the old woman sat down on her porch and looked at her little plot, and her eyes held terrible desolation, sadness, and unwillingness to live. Imagine, a healthy body, but as if there were no life in it. I saw, or rather felt, her terrible desolation and despair. If I hadn't healed her body, the old woman would have died at the right time, died peacefully, with a beautiful dream and hope. Now she was desolate but alive, and this was many times more terrible than physical death. 2 weeks later, she died.
Chapter: A private conversation.
I realized that physical illness is nothing compared with emotional torments. But at the time I still couldn't heal the soul. I wanted to find out how this could be done, if at all. Now I know that it can. I've also realized that physical illnesses arise in man not only as a result of his removal from nature, or the dark feelings he allows himself. Illnesses, can also be a mechanism for warning or even saving someone from significantly greater torments. Illnesses are one mechanism, one means of communication between the great intellect, God, and man. Man's pain is his pain as well. But there is no other way. How else can you be told, for example, don't throw all kinds of things that aren't good for you into your stomach? After all, you aren't listening to reason, so reason speaks to you through pain. But you take painkillers and once again go back to doing it your way.
So you think in the end people shouldn't be treated or helped when they're indisposed?
There should be help, but above all help with a precise understanding of the ailment's primary cause. It is essential to help him understand what the great intellect, God, is trying to tell him. But this is very hard. You can make a mistake. After all, pain is a private conversation between two who know each other. The interference of a third party often does more harm than good.
Then why did you drive the illnesses out of me? You mean you harmed me?
All your illnesses will return unless you change your way of life and your attitude toward your surroundings and yourself. Unless you change some of your habits. They caused your illnesses. I did no harm to your soul.
It was clear to me that I could not convince Anastasia to derive income from her powers until she understood something about it perfectly. My business plan collapsed. Probably noticing my vexation, Anastasia said,
"Don't get upset, Vladimir. I will try to comprehend everything quickly and right away. If you really want to help people and yourself and not just make money, I will tell you about the ways that man can cure himself of many illnesses, without the undesirable effects that arise when outsiders interfere in his fate. If you want to listen to this."
What else can I do? There's no changing your mind anyway, tell me.
There are several main reasons for illnesses of the human flesh. Pernicious feelings and emotions. An artificial routine for eating food. The composition of that food. The absence of short and long-term goals. And a false notion of one's essence and purpose. One can counter diseases of the flesh by using positive emotions and many plants, and by rethinking one's own essence and purpose. One can do a lot to change one's physical and emotional condition as well. I have already told you how to restore the lost link between man and plants in your world, and it's easier to become aware of everything else through personal and direct contact with these plants. The ray of love can also heal many illnesses in someone close to you and even extend his life by creating a dimension of love around him. But man himself too, if he has been able to call up positive emotions from within, can with their help dull pain, heal his flesh from illness and even counter poisons.
What do you mean by call up, and how can you think good thoughts if your tooth or stomach hurts?
Pure, vivid moments of life and positive emotions will vanquish pain and disease like guardian angels.
What if someone doesn't have enough pure and vivid moments to call up healing positive emotions? Then what should he do?
He needs to come up with something immediately that makes them appear. They will appear when people around you treat you with sincere love. Go and create that kind of situation. Create it by performing a deed for those around you. Otherwise, your guardian angel will not be able to help you.
I wonder whether I have them and how strong they are. How can I call them up?
You can do this with the help of memories. For example, the memory of something good and pleasant from your own past. Use this memory to feel the grace that was inside you. Do you want to try right now? I'll help you. Give it a try.
All right, let's try.
Lie down on the grass, please, and relax. You can remember starting from the present moment and going backward into the past. You can recall your childhood and proceed up to the present day. You can remember all at once your most pleasant minutes and the feelings linked with them.
I lay down on the grass. Anastasia lay down beside me and placed her fingers on mine. I thought that her presence would keep me from concentrating on my memories, so I said, "It would be better for me to be alone."
I'll be quiet. When you start remembering, you'll forget about me, and you won't feel the touch of my hand, but I'll help you remember everything faster and more vividly.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of Ringing Cedars of Russia, Book 2 of the Ringing Cedars series. Guardian Angel, where are